I've always loved taking something pretty ordinary and elevating it, surprising people with moments that let them know I was really thinking of them. Look at what we made!
Let's bring in royal commentator Victoria Arbiter live for us in Melbourne. Good afternoon to you, Victoria. For me, I feel like I'm going to watch it. I think it's going to be a guilty pleasure. What's your first reaction to the trailer?
Good afternoon to you. Well, certainly I think in terms of its aesthetic, it's absolutely beautiful. It feels positive, it feels hopeful, it feels optimistic, and I think people enjoy that type of programming. Having said that, I think post-pandemic, certainly, people are struggling with the cost of living crisis. They're struggling to put food on the tables. So really, I think the question for Netflix is whether or not this show is going to be relatable and accessible. I think there's going to be huge numbers tuning in, certainly to that first episode, but whether or not they can keep it up over the 8 episodes remains to be seen.
Do you think that Meghan Markle is trying to rebrand herself as a Martha Stewart type?
Certainly in terms of its aesthetic, it's very Martha Stewart-esque, but Martha Stewart has the credentials. She has decades of experience in this field. Having said that, a lot of this type of content is what Meghan was doing with her blog, The Tig, which was shelved in 2018, shortly before she married Prince Harry. But in that blog, a lot of her content was incredibly popular, and it was this type of material. But how that translates to screen really will be up to the director and Meghan as a producer. It's in her wheelhouse, but whether or not people will receive it in the same way they received Martha Stewart, it is going to be something that I think producers will be closely watching.
Victoria, it is an 8-episode series, and we've already seen in that trailer she will have some famous guests joining her.
Yes, she will. So Mindy Kaling features. She also took part in the Duchess's podcast for Archetypes, which was for Spotify. Abigail Spencer, who was in Suits with her, is also featured. Daniel Martin, who has done Meghan's makeup for years, he features, and also very famous chef in the US, Alice Waters. She said that this show is about meeting new friends and chatting with old friends. And while they are chatting and conversing and presumably putting the world to rights, they'll be sharing their tips and tricks, as you mentioned, so that hopefully people can recreate these recipes at home.
Meghan always has something in the works. In March, she just last year, she launched a lifestyle brand called American Riviera Orchard, but we haven't really seen much about it since, yet to produce any product or content. Can you expect to see that brand throughout this series, do you reckon?
I think that was certainly the goal, and I think they really would have liked to capitalise on the show coming out while the products were already being launched, because of course those go hand in hand. The problem has been trademarking. They have hit wall after wall in terms of trying to trademark American Riviera Orchard, and not to get too dull with this, but there are huge laws governing what can be trademarked and what can't be. Geographical locations cannot be. And then in recent months there has been a protest from an American company called Harry and David. They think some of their branding is too similar to the trademarks that Meghan is trying to push forward. So they've applied for extensions, and I think they're going to be very keen to get this tied up so that they can tie things in with the show.
The Harry and Meghan documentary was a hit, as we know, Netflix's biggest debut for a docuseries. How do you reckon this one will go, honestly? I want your honest opinion. Are people interested in watching Meghan bake cakes?
I think people are fascinated. And Sophie, the way I see this, we have 4 key groups. There are the fans, which are really just happy to watch her do anything. They'd watch her open an envelope and love it. Then you've got the haters, the critics, that are going to watch this, hate watch it, and really find something negative with every single frame of the show. There will be the curiosity seekers. Does Prince Harry feature? Does she mention the royal family? Will we get a glimpse inside her home? And then there are going to be the people that just love this type of content. Lifestyle, cooking, food, culture, gardening, that sort of thing. Whether or not it is compelling enough content is really going to be key, because for Netflix it comes down to the bottom line, and you want to make sure that all of those viewers that are tuning in to the first episode, and I think there are going to be many, you want all of them to come back for episodes 2 to 8.
Good on you, Victoria. Chat to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Still to come, the